Let's state the obvious. USA ain't in a good shape right now, to say the least. Collectively around the world, USA is viewed like an old man that everybody waits for him to die so that they will inherit his fortune. Or, in the case of China or Russia, to inherit the mantle of the most powerful economy in the world. At the moment of making of this video, USA is almost as divided as they were during the Secession War, or as your kids that were brainwashed by your college professors would say, the Slavery War. In any case, from the perspective of an outsider like me, USA at this moment is like a barrel of gunpowder, ready to explode at any moment. Why am I saying this? Well, if it's not obvious, I'll explain for you, silly billies. First would be the economical factors. The fact that the US dollar is so devalued from so much printing and so many loans from the IMF, the Federal Reserve and the Treasury, leading to rampant inflation and prices skyrocketing. Of course, the wages would never be able to keep up with those inflated prices, making everyone unhappy and tensions rising every day because of this economical uncertainty. Second factor would be political division. USA at this point is basically divided into multiple factions, let's say. The politically brainwashed ones that blindly follow their political faction, leader, or dogma, like Democrats and Republicans. One side screams, "Free Palestine! Abortion rights! Black Lives Matter!" And the other side would say, "Yeah, brother, Israel, our greatest ally. No more taxes, or better yet, give those to Israel." As a red-blooded American that loves apple pie, Western movies, and drinking beer in the afternoon, I would gladly give my son's life to Israel. The other faction would be the libertarians, or as I like to call them, the guys that didn't evolve mentally past the age of 12. You know the types, the basement dwellers, the neckbeards that suck on the corpse of Murray Rothbard and Milton Scheckelstein, and they value their possessions more than they value human life. Other faction might be the ones that I call how can I say it in a polite way? Degenerates, yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. That I don't need to explain too much who they are, so I'll show you a collage of some pictures suggesting them. Ten, 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 sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud in the sight. And the last faction, I would say, is the ones that have awoken from this American dream. The ones that get how politics works in USA and figure out who actually controls America, who pulls the strings, and figure out how money works. And those basically are the recluse, the ones that are ostracized from society because they don't have a place in a brainwashed society. The ones that are called far-right, but in reality, they're just regular people that want to live a better life, and people that actually care about their culture, their people, their country, and want what's best for it, alright? And are people that just want to be left alone and live life on their own terms, okay? They're not hillbillies that grab the Confederate flag and sing, "Oh, I wish I was in Dixie, hooray, hooray." Okay, they're not that type of guys, alright? And those people are growing in number day by day worldwide because there is a mass awakening, a mass disillusionment, and I personally couldn't be happier. But most people just want to keep to themselves in fear of not being labeled a naughty word. Third factor would be racial tensions. I mean, what did you expect when you don't have an ethno-state? What did you expect when you don't have a hegemonic culture throughout the whole country? What did you expect when half of the country speaks English, a third speaks Spanish, and the rest speak an amalgamation of Vietnamese, Chinese, Russian, German, French, and Tagalog! What did you expect when you grant American citizenship to 300,000 Haitians that come into your country to rape your women and eat your cats? What did you expect when you have half of the country white European descendants, the other half African descendants, Hispanics, Asians, and basically all the other races under the sun? Did you expect that all the people will just grab their hands and sing in unison Kumbaya? You're a gullible idiot if you believe that. You cannot have a safe country. You cannot have universal peace throughout the country if you mix cultures together, if you mix all the races, if you bring in millions of immigrants that fundamentally cannot coexist or cannot adapt or assimilate into their culture and speak the language of their hosting country. This never worked throughout history. Never! What makes you think that would work now? Has human nature changed? Has our need for tribalism evaporated? The types of people that try and change human nature are the most misguided, evil, and downright stupid people to ever exist. I'm of course referring to communists, Marxists, and globalists. Or I could just say Jew. Sorry about that. My internet connection was cut out by the ADL. You got me this time, Greenblatt. You got me. Fourth factor, I would say, is an unprecedented surge in violent crimes. Don't believe me? Check out the official police statistics. And those are generated by the other three factors that I explained earlier. Those are economical insufficiencies, political divide, and racial tensions. Those three are interconnected with each other and each play a role in the rise of general crimes and general violent crimes throughout USA in the past year or so. At the moment of this recording, I don't think USA is on the brink of a civil war. Because people, generally speaking, still can afford groceries. It's hard, granted. The inflation is killing everybody, rich and poor. Look, I'm not trying to sound like an alarmist guy that screams civil war every 50 minutes or so, okay? I'm not Tim Pool or Nick Fuentes. But at the rate things are evolving, and not to mention the fact that we have elections everywhere in Europe and of course USA, and both parties hype up this election as the most important election in the history of the United States. Look, I'm gonna say it right now. If Trump loses, it's not good. If Trump wins, it's also not good. You think the assassination attempts are gonna stop right here? I don't think so. If Trump, God forbid, is assassinated, this could spark a civil war. And I don't think it's gonna come to this. Besides, the population at large is so pussified, especially the liberal side, and frankly, I don't think they actually wanna kill each other. I mean, come on. They're not Russian after all. In my opinion, the culture tends towards a civil war. I mean, we had an A24 movie called Civil War this year set in the near future. Even 2 days ago, the hashtag Civil War was trending on Twitter. And of course, established media like CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, Fox News, and Bloomberg, they all have been hyping up a potential civil war over the past year or so. I mean, why wouldn't they? They would at last have some decent ratings since no one with a brain watches this shit anymore. Again, I don't want to be an alarmist, but need I remind you that the Secession War from 1861 to 1865 started for way less than that. So my prediction for the future of USA, and not only the USA, UK, France, Germany, and the whole Western world in general, will be the following. Imagine this. Escape from New York meets RoboCop meets Judge Dredd. Have I lost you? Okay, let me explain. In my opinion, the future of the Western world will look like Escape from New York, respectively Escape from LA, because crimes are gonna become so rampant and so much out of control that cities like London, Paris, Berlin, New York, Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, and San Francisco will be turned into gigantic prisons to contain criminals because most people will become criminals, or they will be labeled as criminals by the government because of economical insufficiencies and the fact that they will not be able to pay their taxes. This, paired with the dystopian future of RoboCop, I'm not saying that the police will become automated or they will develop some kind of cyborg like RoboCop, although that'd be cool as fuck. I don't think this will ever be possible or even desirable. I mean, imagine if a robot breaks a kid's finger. Oh wait, that actually happened. Okay, imagine if a robot shoots a kid. You will have massive riots throughout the whole country. No, the aspect about RoboCop that I think will definitely become a reality is the privatization of the police force, because the taxpayers will either refuse to pay any more taxes, which in consequence they will become criminals, and there wouldn't be any money to fund the police. So a big shot like Larry Fink or Steve Schwarzman will buy the police force and will privatize it. And the aspect about the future of Judge Dredd will become a reality is that the police force will become much more brutal and unforgiving with the populace, since there are no more taxpayers. The established permanent government will have no reason to keep many people alive. I know, I have a pretty crazy theory, but what's new on this channel? In my opinion, realistically, a civil war in USA will not be between Democrats and Republicans. No, that's just a show for mouth breathers. A real civil war will be between the establishment and the rest. The establishment will, of course, be the permanent government. That is the CIA, FBI, Homeland Security, the oligarchs like Larry Fink, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. They will have their own private security, which will be maximum a battalion worth of men for each oligarch. That will form basically an enclave that will be heavily guarded and fortified. And the other side of the conflict will be the police force, the people, and the army. Why do I say the army? Well, because in my opinion, I think their allegiances lay with the people. Of course, there will be generals that will side with the permanent government, don't get me wrong, but let's face it, most of them won't. And of course, the military-industrial complex will be the ones that will benefit from all this bloodshed. And of course, the silly billies. Man, I went full schizo with this video. If the Ottoman Empire was called the sick man of Europe before the start of World War I, then USA is the sick man of the world in the 21st century, since they are the ones that believe themselves above everyone, invading smaller poor countries, funneling trillions into proxy wars worldwide, proxy wars that they, with the help of the CIA, caused, staging coups and toppling leaders worldwide for their interests, but never directly going to war with a major country. Is this the most powerful nation in the world? If so, I'm not impressed. Do I want USA to fall? No, not exactly. But I would rather appreciate if they would just stop bombing people throughout the world and just keep their noses out of Europe's business, alright? That would be fucking great. Man, this video will either age like milk, and you guys will call me the biggest schizo on YouTube, or it will age like fine wine, and you guys will call me Nostradamus.
Subscribe, you silly Billy!